Jimmy Control here again. Earlier in the flight, you'll recall at the start of the second revolution, we had a reference to several objects that the crew spotted. This was
On the 21st of July, 1969, 6 hours after stepping onto the surface of the moon, Buzz Aldrin sat down for his official debrief. He told NASA something he had not said on the live broadcast, something the agency kept inside a classified transcript for 57 years. And on May 8, 2026, 6 days ago, the United States Department of War put that transcript on a public website, a website for the first time in American history, dedicated to one subject: UFOs. They called the program Pursue. They released 162 records, and buried inside one of them was a sentence Buzz Aldrin said in 1969 that the public was never meant to hear. This is what they spent 57 years not saying. Pursue stands for Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters. It launched on the 8th of May, 2026. It is the most extensive UFO disclosure the American government has ever made in a single day. 120 declassified documents, 28 videos that have never been seen by the public, 14 photographs, all from the archives of the Pentagon, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, the FBI, the Department of Energy, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. All in one place, all downloadable, right now. The Defense Secretary stood in front of a Pentagon podium and called it, quote, maximum transparency. The Director of National Intelligence called it a comprehensive multi-agency declassification program. The Pentagon's press release ended with this sentence: the public can draw their own conclusions, which is an interesting sentence from an institution that has spent 8 decades telling the public there was nothing to draw conclusions about. The Air Force ended its UFO investigation, Project Blue Book, in 1969. The conclusion at the time signed off by the Pentagon was this: no UFO reported, investigated, and evaluated by the Air Force has ever given any indication of threat to our national security. 3 months before they wrote that sentence, Buzz Aldrin had already told them something else. 3 Apollo missions, 3 different crews, 3 independent reports of unexplained lights in space, recorded by the men America trusted enough to put on the moon. The transcripts were filed, they were classified, they sat in a building in Maryland for half a century, until last Friday. We start with Aldrin. In the technical debrief transcribed at the Manned Spacecraft Center in Houston on July 31st, 1969, Aldrin describes seeing something during the translunar coast. That's the 3-day journey from Earth to the moon. He says, and these are his exact words: I observed what appeared to be a fairly bright light source, which we tentatively ascribe to a possible laser. A laser, not debris, not a reflection, not space junk. A bright, directed point of light, observed from inside the Apollo 11 command module, hundreds of thousands of miles from any country on Earth capable of building one. He also reported, and this is in the same transcript, quote, little flashes inside the cabin, spaced a couple of minutes apart. He noticed them while trying to sleep. He was not alone. Michael Collins and Neil Armstrong saw them too. 3 months later, Apollo 12 launched. Alan Bean became the 4th human to walk on the moon. In a transcript released last week, never published before, Bean told ground control he was seeing lights moving. Not random. Departing. He used this exact phrase, and I'm reading directly from the declassified file. It looks like some of those things are escaping the moon. They really haul out of here and just press off at the stars. escaping the moon, pressing off at the stars. Houston suggested cosmic radiation. Bean and his crew accepted that explanation. The file went into a vault. Apollo 17, December 1972. The last crewed mission to the moon, geologist Harrison Schmitt and pilot Ron Evans. On the voice loop with Houston, Schmitt looks out the window of the command module and tells Mission Control what he is seeing. Ron Evans had reported it first. It happened across 3 consecutive days of the mission. Schmitt's words, again from the war.gov release. It looks like the 4th of July out of Ron's window. There is an office inside the Pentagon called the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO. It was created in 2022 to investigate unidentified anomalous phenomena. Its current director is Dr. John Kozlowski. He read these transcripts. He read every one of the 162 records released last Friday. His official conclusion, submitted to the Senate Armed Services Committee in November 2024 and reaffirmed in May 2026, is one sentence. Here it is. AARO has discovered no verifiable evidence of extraterrestrial beings, activity, or technology. Dr. John Kozlowski. No verifiable evidence of beings, of activity, of technology. That is the official position of the United States government, restated this month after they released material that quotes a man who walked on the moon, describing a laser. AARO's position is not that nothing happened. AARO's position is that what happened can be explained. Cosmic radiation, micrometeoroid impacts, static electricity inside the cabin, film defects in the photography. Each report has been catalogued, examined, and assigned a conventional cause. That is what the document release is meant to confirm. Conventional causes, closed cases, nothing to see here, which raises a question. If there is nothing to see here, if every one of these reports has a conventional explanation, then why did it take 57 years to release them? Because the government does not classify things that don't matter. Classification costs money, personnel, storage. Every year these documents sat in a vault. Someone with a clearance had to maintain that vault. Someone signed a renewal. Someone decided, year after year after year, that the public should not see them. And then, for reasons the Pentagon has not publicly explained, the answer changed. In 2017, the New York Times revealed the existence of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. In 2020, the Department of Defense officially released 3 Navy infrared videos, Tic Tac, Go Fast, Gimbal. In 2022, AARO was created. In 2023, a former intelligence officer named David Grush told a congressional committee under oath that the United States operates, quote, a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program. When asked by Representative Nancy Mace whether biological material had been recovered from these incidents, Grush's answer, also under oath, was this. He was not contradicted under oath. He was not charged with perjury. He still has not been. The May 8th release is not the end. The Pentagon has committed to a new tranche of declassified UFO files every 30 days. The next drop is scheduled for the 7th of June, 2026. 3 weeks from today. Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee, who has spent 5 years pushing for UAP transparency in Congress, gave this prediction the day the May files were released. Representative Anna Paulina Luna of Florida called the release, quote, a massive first step in the right direction, which in Washington is the kind of sentence you say when you have seen what is coming next, and you are choosing your words carefully. We do not know how many UFO files the United States government actually holds. We know they just released 162. We know they have promised more. We know Buzz Aldrin saw something he described as a laser on the moon in 1969. And the government's official answer in 2026 is that the laser was probably a piece of debris no one ever found. Every 20 years, the United States releases another piece of this story. Every time the story gets stranger, every time, the official explanation requires more believing than the unofficial one. On June 7th, the Pentagon will release the second tranche. We will be reading every page, every minute of footage, every photograph, and we will tell you what they did not say out loud. Subscribe to Amnesia Protocol, because what was buried for 57 years took 6 days to forget. We are here to make sure it does not happen again.